Okay. Stuff out.
It's how long you forgot your own plot.
Well, no, I need to get like specific names for like who gave the task and such.
Ah, yes.
If I'm going for a more detailed, proper recap.
You don't need to go too in depth because Fox about put me to sleep. So
You guys, what now?
Talks about putting him to sleep.
Oh,
It was a riveting session, I hear.
yeah, I don't know if Fox is a good GM. I we're not live yet, right?
one second.
No, no, but I'm
Oh, Okay, to keep this short, then, um, um, a- attached to the Nethicite sightings and conversions, um, is allegedly the brother of Carissa, which is a person that Amros knows. Um, her brother Lindsay is a magicite crafter that had disappeared uh, shortly before the Nephite stuff has popped up. Um, in conjunction with magical magical investigation service um, of the not Estrina, not in Estrina right now. In Umbra, you as your own group was set off to search an area where you encountered the Nephesite production area. Come on, roll 20. Um, where you guys shut it down and captured a Lady Asara Mishtar as she knew where Lindsay was, which was to uncover a basically I'm trying to uncover an ancient city. Um, for image sake, here is the image of if it will up, go. Instead of having the chain thing, she has a sword. Um, and while fighting through a full event, you guys were able to make it to the now uncovered ancient city, where allegedly Lindsay in here. Um, I don't believe you guys have asked specifically where yet because it ended with you guys just arriving here. Um, because there was the focus on clearing the fallen from the full event versus heading directly to the destination. There has been an hour-ish that has passed where this guy could be, in the process of doing whatever he needs to do to fulfill his plan. Um, there is also a some sort of construct thing up here, along with a um, prismatic dome that is allegedly containing something. Um, may not be a priority depending on how quickly you want to get into the city or not. Um, the city is in a is there's a 300-foot ledge from the cracked earth between where you are and the city itself. The most overt thing is a central tower. Um, Tris, remind me if I had Lady Mistara actually give Lindsay's probable location in this. I don't believe
I
did.
don't believe they had given us that information yet.
Okay.
So, big evil ominous tower is a good place to start.
Yep. Also in terms of party composition, um, aside from Kit Kat as mentioned earlier, um, Int is with the group and has actually been affording pretty decent bonuses when Fireflies are around. And Kara is with.
Okay.
Um, now, do you have any? I know that was kind of like a blitzing of things, but do you have any questions or clarifications?
Yeah. So our goal is probably going to be to get to the tower then?
That would be the obvious location, yeah.
And this giant thing up here is evil.
Presumably, yes.
So the construct, yeah, but it's here. You don't have to fight it given your current objectives, but
I'd say it's just kind of wandering around.
but you can if you'd like.
And I believe we determined it was not a fallen or a corrupted. It was just there.
Oh, the constructed thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's not. It's not a fallen. It's something that has been that is clearly a powerful construct of some sort.
Yeah.
As for what's in the oh, as for what's in the prismatic field, you don't know because it's a prismatic field. But
Oh, we can ask our prisoners about that. Do you know anything about the prismatic wall, the dome, what that is?
I don't know a thing about it. I've led you to where I'm going, to where I said I would lead you.
Know where in here they probably are?
Set me free after that.
That was the deal. Get us there, we cut you loose.
If Lindsay has completed enough of his tasks, he should be at the central town.
Make an insight check just to be sure. Oh, I forgot I had 3 exhaustion. There.
Yeah, you might be affected here. Okay, does that affect your roll at all?
No.
I know it'll eventually start affecting.
Oh, it affected ability checks, but the die that rolls that I rolled with advantage, like I normally do. So my advantage be negated, but the die that rolled high is the die I always count as my primary die anyway. So
Okay.
in theory, nothing affected.
Um, as far as you can tell, she is reluctantly being honest.
All right, I will release her bonds then.
Okay.
We're still technically in the aftershocks of a fall. You may want to stick close just for safety, but if you think you can make it,
That does unfortunately make sense.
We're still in the Holy Republic.
yes,
Okay.
we're out in the boonies of it, but we are still there. So this is an abandoned city ruin. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Abandoned city. Cool. I can do an abandoned city.
yeah, you missed us being in the capital of the Republic. You missed us being in a farming town of the Republic. We are now just in some abandoned ruin.
Okay. How convenient.
And well, I'm curious about that prismatic thing. I don't have anything that can get through it, as I recall.
Sorry, I zoned out for a second. What prismatic thing?
The big orange square on the map is some kind of prismatic barrier, which, like, if assuming it's like any other prismatic wall, requires very specific things to get through it that at least I don't have. So
Yeah, it's a prismatic dome. So likely something is within.
Yeah.
Okay, I have Dispel Magic and Counterspell,
Dispel Magic won't work on it.
and Dimension Door.
Dimension Door will get you halfway through it, and then you'll start taking damage.
I thought this was required to actually affect one of the layers.
Right, that's what I mean. It won't get you through it, but it's like an anti-magic field has no effect on the wall, and Dispel Magic only works against one specific layer.
Okay.
Is layer 7, so you got to get him decent way in there before you can.
Is it what type of roll is it to remember what all we need to be able to do to get through the layers?
It would be
Since we
on a roll if you want to if you want to basically kind of read the spell to identify what you need for what.
Which I probably should do since I was just looking at it.
Is it an advantage since we've seen it before?
Yeah, that would definitely make sense.
Well, hope you did better than I.
I got 18.
I got a 10, so.
Uh, 18. Given that you've seen this before, you'll know the steps.
Okay. So layer 1 has to take 25 cold damage. Layer 2 takes a strong wind. Layer 3 is 60 force damage. Layer 4, you have to be able to open a portal on a solid surface, like a pass wall.
Cheap Earth could probably do it.
It specifies portal, not make a hole.
Okay.
So,
So it was cold damage first, right?
yeah, cold damage first.
I don't got anything for that. That's the one I don't have anything for. I have Gust of Wind for the second one. I have Magic Missile for the third.
Yeah, the person who does cold damage is the one who walked.
1 second. Okay, I just recently added Windows update. What do you mean they have more Windows?
I don't think we have force damage either.
Yeah, I just said I've got Magic Missile.
Yeah, Measurements can do it. Mint can do it.
And we don't have the ability to make a hole / portal.
I don't know how Magic Missile works though, since Magic Missile targets a creature.
We normally allow you to target objects with spells just because it's kind of stupid that I'm sorry, your magic missile or your ray gun can't work on you can't shoot a cup.
I say canonically, according to sage advice, if it does creature, it needs creature.
Yeah.
Therefore, other stuff doesn't apply because there's a specific question about a door. It's like, well, it doesn't say you can target objects. I find that silly, so I'm like, no, you're shooting a bolt of energy. It'll hit shit.
Layer 6, we need the daylight spell.
No,
Daylight. Hold on.
he does not have cold damage.
And I guess I could wail on it with Warfrost for a minute.
Oh,
Bad control water can't make cold damage.
Kara will speak up. With all of the newness that I have, I could try something, but usually prismatic walls exist for a reason. If you really want to, I can try.
Is there a way?
No.
Probably would be investigation. Is there a way if we can tell if this is like a recent prismatic wall? It probably would be related to what's going on, or is this like an old world prismatic wall that's been here for a while that probably is something neat behind it, but not necessarily an immediate concern.
That would be an Arcana roll.
Arcana, not investigation.
Well, because Arcana is knowledge of magic
Yeah,
and stuff.
I was just confirming.
Now, having detect magic is needed if you don't want or if you don't want to have it be a disadvantage.
I'm already at disadvantage. I can't be at more disadvantage.
Yeah,
But I do have detect magic if it makes you feel better.
She rolled this 18. Okay, for what you can tell, um, uh, it um, it doesn't appear to have it doesn't appear to be a old use of the spell, just judging by the the material around it. That being said, you can tell that it is past its regular duration, so it might be being generated by a site item just to maintain it.
Well, considering nothing can get in or out while that's up, it it could be somebody put up the dome to protect themselves from the fall, or it could be connected to whatever's going on in the tower. In which case, if we stop what's in the tower, it might depower the bubble.
That's fair. Let's try to stop what's in the tower. Then we can go find out.
All right.
Okay.
I know a 300-foot drop is not a problem for you. It's not a problem for me. But I know we have some people in the party where that might be an issue. I don't know who has what for that.
I can cast. No, I don't have to. All of that. Okay.
She doesn't. Um, check mint. Featherfall would be ideal.
Yes, but I don't know if anybody has that.
Yeah, I just realized it's like I think it's a different character. I don't think that's Thomas. Shield of Faith. That way, when they land, they at least go to heaven.
I mean, I could always just cast Fly on a bunch of people, but
As a former delver of relics, it would behoove Sasha to have Featherfall.
or at least rope.
Oh, he has rope. He also has a climb speed, I think. Not have Featherfall, but does have other abilities that would fine. Like if he has like
Okay,
he
so
uses like land bonds.
So
then,
Zasha is coming.
yeah.
How about Mint and Kara?
Mint kind of looks over, looks down. I wouldn't be the fastest, but I could get down there. Sasha will make the comment, we can always climb. Or Thomas can carry us.
Hmm?
Yeah. I can carry maybe Kit Kat. Maybe. To be honest, Matt is not 100% sure what Thomas's strength stat is right now and is currently doubled over on the toilet. So. I'm glad somebody is concerned.
So it sounds like we have 2 unsure.
Yeah.
And our prisoner our ex-former prisoner, as I recall, was some kind of monk, so they probably don't have to worry about it.
Well, yeah, you do have on a sleigh with you, which is this individual.
Yeah.
More monk. You guys don't have to worry about it. Um, um, Lady Sarah, or Sarah, isn't too concerned, but she's clearly thinking, flying if she, or stick with you guys. As you mentioned, the fall hanging around is a good.
All right. Well, if Thomas can take 1, I can plausibly take 2, maybe 3 down with the ring of gravity. At which point, that sounds like everybody's covered.
Yep.
All right. Hoorah!
Okay.
No mana was expended.
Going down into the city, there are areas of structure that appears to be damaged by way of, well, falling to the ground, as if they were affixed to points on a building with something that is purely magic versus anything solid. With the area you guys are in, there was also a body of water to your north. Um, you're also seeing signs above of a um, another phase of a fall coming. Tower um, is tall enough. The central tower is tall enough that even if the base is obscured by a building, you'll be able to see the top of it. So you'll know your orientation towards the tower. Um, there is a sense of dormancy here, at least in this part. Shards of some form of magicite um, strewn along the ground in places along the block. You guys can, of course, just try to make your way towards the tower if you'd like.
That is my intention, though I would like to make, I guess it would be survival in this case. You said there's scattered magicite about, see if I can maybe pick up a trail for the people that were after, maybe get a set. I don't know if I can get a sense of how many there are, but maybe at least get an idea of like routes they've traveled, so I have an idea of where they're more likely to be people about that might be an issue.
You can make a survival.
I'm no Tommy, but not an 18.
Funny. Okay. Well, through the shattering of shards here, you can tell that the um, fell um, after um, after essentially a kind of depowerment. You're not seeing trails of a person.
Okay, so this is like old magicite, not stuff falling off of people or whatever.
Yeah, this is old magicite that has fallen to the ground.
Okay.
And you're not seeing signs of anyone having.
How long ago was this town populated?
Pre-calamity.
So almost 2,000 years.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, that's why there's a crack in the earth, because this place was literally uncovered.
Alrighty. Pre-calamity. Magicite.
So presumably the
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's been depowered, which is odd given magicite is a source of power. So,
well, we know they've been doing something here that's depowering and corrupting stuff, so might be tied to whatever ritual they're doing here, either something they discovered here that allows them to do that, or whatever they're doing is now rippling out and causing that.
You want to go Soto, Nico? Take my dogs out real quick.
Sure.
While we are doing this, I'm still going to be on, just away from my PC for a couple of minutes. Because I did not take them out before Fox's game.
oh,
How dare you?
Well, to be fair, Asuka relieved herself like an hour before it was time to go out, all over the floor because she drank too much at the dog park. She did let me know she needed to go, but I was being lazy. So she went and relieved herself all over the floor. So I imagine she should be fine. Nico probably needs to go though.
it sounds like you guys are wanting to move through.
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys are moving through, unless you're doing something special to expedite your travel. As you are weaving through the city, seeing aside from signs of desolation, there are also old old temples here, style of which is something Tarbalane would recognize, given his particular history.
Hmm.
Um, um, the streaks in the sky as the second phase of the fall is happening. There are sounds from above of impacts. Um, it- all of you can feel um, shiftings of energy as you guys are traveling. There is um, a sudden temperature shift to, oddly enough, cold, very cold, is it? As a matter of fact, getting colder as you move forward until you see um you note the excuse me the ground um around you across a rather long length um brittle and collapse in a fissure. Now, if you were flying already, it doesn't bother you because you're flying. Those who are on foot, however, I would like to know what they would like to do to prevent from being swallowed up by a fall-induced chasm, which may have other things associated with it.
Buzz flying.
Bro's going to reach behind his ear, pull out, the seed, flick out the thorn whip to grab onto something, pull himself to it.
Okay. I believe that generally requires a hit roll.
It does, I believe. Check that. Make a melee spell attack, yes.
Okay. If you can do that, you will feel that there's actually a suction to this chasm, which trying to kind of like pull in your vine whip along with yourself. Um, so your accuracy will be a little bit more. 17. Okay. That is enough as you wraps it. No, trying to pulls you. Mint will slam her hammer into the side of the fissure, preventing her from actually falling in. Um, Sasha uses doorstep to just teleport back to solid ground. The car's gonna do something. Yeah. Kara will grab on to you, Ro, so she can be dragged along with you. It's just like this extra weight on you. Um, uh, I think I'd like to enjoy my legs a bit longer. Mint will be pulling herself out with the hammer, kind of look down with Giver. I think there might be something down there.
Like something living?
Um, it's just a foreboding feeling. Um, um, Ono uh, pretty much just did monk stuff to save herself. Your former slew. Apologize that roll 20 is being slow right now.
Oh, and there's balance. I want to say according to the data they released, Friday is their like peak usage day. So,
Okay.
They were having issues like crap yesterday too.
yeah, I can't speak to yesterday. I want to say Friday, Saturday are supposed to be their two biggest.
Okay, yeah. She will be jumping off of things that are being pulled into the fissure. Gets to a more stable.
Well, if there is something down there, I'm sure it'll make its presence known. Meantime, I guess we can try to make our way around it.
Yeah, it's not an unlimited width fissure. So you guys can take the time to go. Or in the case of Tarblin, you could fly across it. The width is 30 feet. So if you can clear a 30-foot opening, then we're good.
I got a thing for that, I think. I made a bridge.
Oh, okay, that saves everyone time. Except for Tarblade, because you didn't Tarblade. I just keep wanting to bring that up because that is very useful to have.
That's probably wise. Save me from having to do my thing. So
You just stick a seed in the ground, clap, and go across.
You guys can cross the bridge, the vine bridge. You can hear like kind of like cracking and breaking noises, not from the vines themselves breaking, but there is a coating of ice that is solidifying, but your weight is breaking it as you're moving across.
Just for the sake of science, I'm going to drop a lit torch down there.
Okay. It will go down 20 feet before the light not so much winks out, but it's like it passes a barrier of utter darkness. Um, you will eventually hear a kerthunk. Um,
Probably the point I should tell you, I have the Warlock Dark Vision that pierces magical darkness.
oh, out to what range?
120.
Well, that's a fair amount.
I don't know if that matters here or not, but
What you will see with your special eyes is of course the darkness that you're piercing, which I don't know if you can actually tell you're piercing darkness or you can see.
it just says you can see through it, so
Okay.
I assume it's just my normal sight.
Well, then in that case, there's the point where the torchlight winked out and you can falling. 100 feet below that. Sorry, 80 feet below that. So this would be a total of 100. Um, you will see a mass of darkness, which at first would be like, wait, I should be able to see. When you realize it is a physical darkness that is, for lack of a term, writhing along the length of the 100 feet below.
Okay, so living darkness in the pit. Got it.
You go along, there's various other sounds of impacts as um second phase of a second phase of a fall is occurring. There will definitely be the sounds of new things entering the city, giving it a sense of I would say sense of life. Let me rephrase that. A sense of activity, giving giving that the fall is bringing things with it. Um,
Make that fool's life miserable. Forgot I had dawn.
yeah. Um, as you guys travel. Um, if you would like, you can make a survival uh or navigation tools roll if you're wanting to kind of like find an expedited path, or you could just move.
The attempt.
Okay, keep in mind if you make the attempt and fail, that could slow you down.
Yeah, risk reward. That's kind of my thing.
22. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'll say slightly improved out. Okay.
Speed is halved, so I got which great just brings me down to the same speed as everyone else, but
Okay.
trying to make up time where I can. Standing on that cliff for 2 months.
Burbling, can I get a wisdom roll from you?
A wisdom roll. Absolutely. Well, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. 19 after the luck die. Luck point.
Okay. Nineteen. 19 is there. It is. Ah, you um will hear um will hear a um whispers from within you. You recognize it as the whispers that are generally, excuse me, that are generally around Valefor um when you when you summon Valefor, though obviously you haven't summoned them. But you kind of can hear it coming from within you. Of the whispers, you do hear a a soft voice amongst them, which sounds um very much very much like Hermes to you, a as if there is a um echo of Hermes that perhaps Valefor isn't even aware of himself, and you can make out that this particular whisper is trying to become more heard to you, quote unquote loud enough for you to hear. Um, you get the impression that essentially essentially friendship is trying to kind of laced in the whispers as to why so much quote unquote effort it is being made to do will um you'll be able to make out that a couple things that um that you're hearing whispers via her of um a plan to concentrate power into the tower, which is pretty much new. However, he will add that to um there is protection that can be uh, that can be awoken help to help you against the danger currently in. Getting the sense that there are you're getting flashes rather of a couple of places in the city that you could go, or to um or to um go to a kind of central defense system that's the whisper of Hermes will recede as you kind of have the sense that it was kind of like a bit of a breakthrough and now the effort is having the voice received.
Okay. I'm gonna try to hear it before it recedes.
So that's what the wisdom roll is for, to see if you could hear it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The voice is occurring kind of internally from Valefor. So it's not so much literally hearing something as so much a form of communication.
And it sounds like he was giving you directions.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, or you're aware that of course heading to the tower can also appear since there's defenses that can be started from there. You are also aware through the flashes of insight, Hermes slash Valefor that was given to you that there are. Come on. That there are other places. The Hermes Whisper believes where fences can be erected. Hermes is more concerned about like for the voice. I was more concerned about protecting you than than the group. Again, probably vestiges of the connection that was.
Hmm.
There we go. Just for redundancy, I'm putting one on the top. So okay, I some green observation points on the map. Um, those are where Torblaine, you are aware, um, defenses survive. Quote unquote surviving defenses could be if you are wanting to.
Okay. I will pass that information along to the rest of the party.
Do we want to make the detour?
Uh, the gods went to a whole lot of effort to set that up.
Lady is or will speak up. But the tower's right there. Stars is kind of evaluating. Um, Mint will lightly bot Lady Asura um um with her hammer, not enough to cause any damage, just a light
Hmm.
a light bop. Oh, you don't have to be so rude about it.
Well, the tower is right there, but there's two of them that are pretty close to the tower. So I figure we could probably check those out at least, see what we're actually looking at, see if the third one's actually worth it. Because it might make getting into the tower easier.
Again, I'm already for it because
Well, in that case, I recommend going with this one to the west first, just because it is the one most out of our way. I wish they'd spoken up a little sooner when we were closer to that, but we got to backtrack a little bit. That's fine.
Right, you guys are going because it
Yeah.
sounds like everyone's in agreement. As you're heading in that direction, there will be the sound of something rapidly moving through the air, and then noises as something at an angle is just um, crashing through a number of buildings as a piece of has struck the ground um about a about half a block away. It's within line of sight of the building that you're going to, that was the building you're wanting to go to, is past. Um, from the rock fragment, um, tendrils very similar to why did I just blank on the name? Freaking A. Spell level 7. Darkness tendrils.
Oh, there's black tentacles.
Yeah. Yeah, looking very similar to that kind of seep out of it and um begin begin jabbing into the ground, and like from where it connects to the surface, the darkness is like webbing out of that and upward, creating a kind of web of darkness that's expanding. At at the moment, it looks like you guys have a chance to kind of shoot past before it fully expands. Though of course you guys can do other things if you'd like.
Uh, well, I probably should do something about containment as we're shooting past it. So what I'm going to do is, as we are going, I'm going to spend some hit die for haste ritual.
That lowers it to
Less than a minute.
okay.
Um, so I'm going to pop a charge mist on the site, and yeah, I can just I can fire and forget. And I'm going to put a dawn down on the charge mist on the black mist, black tentacly thing that's trying to get out.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll kill it, but it'll certainly fuck it up enough that when we come back out, that it'll.
Okay. Tarly, is there anything that that you're wanting to do concerning this, or are you just wanting to kind of shoot by it?
Um, Probably just shoot by it.
Okay. Well, I would have asked for a roll with what the combination of things Ro was doing. Um, the the core of the thing, that where the tendrils are jutting out of it and sticking into the ground, well, that is still there, though it looks to be sizzling. The webbing that was forming, degrades into dark particles.
Awesome.
So basically what you're doing is destroying the webbing it's producing as it's producing it, but the thing itself is still there.
Okay, so the charge dawn is not killing it, but it's making it miserable and preventing it from spreading. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Reaching the building, it is a It is a building that is 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 held up by thin thin bits of what look like some form of polished stone, while the intervening space looks to be completely made of crystal, not just regular crystal, not just plain crystal, not, or even plain magicite. It looks like there are multiple colors, not just the regular magicite that you guys are aware of from what the Holy Republic. Well, some coloring is like that. It's different a different smattering of colors of magicite as a cohesive piece that is actually um, forming art. Um, what it is depicting are um, are what you would guess without a history roll to be bands of notable notable figures, leader types, non-hero of light hero types, that kind of.
Anybody you know?
Um, not specifically, I don't think.
If you'd like to make,
Unless you need me to make a history.
yeah, if you can make a history roll with advantage, you
Okay.
can. If you'd like to kind of sort through your memories.
Mhm. 13.
13. Okay. Um, one of them, you'll recognize actually as Lady Lady Asara, though not in the attire she has now, uh, but in a full armor set as part of the depiction. But you can uh you more recognize the depiction and then kind of make the connection. Oh no, you two are the same person. Um, one of the details that was mentioned due to I think a legend lore or something. Uh, is that she was one of the last guardians and eventually got frozen into a kind of stopped state until Asara was able to recover her. Um, so more importantly, you unfortunately do not remember this person's name. It is a tall, um, like giant lineage individual, with being depicted with a advanced like magical shield instead of a regular power shield. But why you do not recall why you not recall, yeah, why you do not recall his name, you do recall um, that um, he is known for known for uh, coming up with um, various various defenses during during around the what would eventually be the end times for them. Um, enough of an inkling tell you that if this person is depicted on here, whatever this defensive structure is, will likely, in fact, be a shield or some other similar form of protection for the likely for the city itself.
Okay, so that would stop more stuff from falling in. That's good to know.
Um, that's what you can tell from exterior depictions. There is a door that you guys can see on one of the bits of non-magicite material that is there. The door itself looks cracked but not opened.
I guess time to see if anybody's home.
Okay.
If there's an objection, I will approach the door.
The lady looks a little um she looks hesitant, but she also looks like she's actually trying to, conceal the fact that she looks hesitant via stoicism. If you guys do want to approach, you will find that that the door is the door, while cracked, unveils that behind the cracked surface is looks like a form of liquid metal flowing along what appear to be extra shiny uh, copper gears, as you can the these parts of the interior of the door mechanism itself. Um, there is, or rather was, a an inset handle that has not survived whatever cracked the interior.
Okay. Speed forward.
Okay, how are you wanting to proceed? Because the door isn't open, it's just
And, is it, resistant to being pushed open?
okay. As you push, since you can't see to the interior of the door, the kind of liquid metal flowing around the copper gears um, hardens as the gears move, to essentially assist the opening. You can feel that this is dense and that the gears, assist with someone trying to open it, but the liquid metal solidifies around it as you to prevent the motion. So it'll move like a fraction of an inch before stopping.
So the liquid metal is designed to prevent the door from opening.
Yeah. Once you no longer apply pressure to it, at least enough to try to make it budge, the hardened metal will liquefy again and just begin flowing around the gears. Such.
I don't suppose anybody's familiar with this sort of mechanism?
Um, I don't think I am,
I'd say it's from your time period, or
but
Asha as a Tomb Raider, maybe, but I feel like it'd be one of the two of you.
Actually, given who Tarbelane was with, I kind of assume that you at least know a little about many things, so you can make a history roll with disadvantage.
okay.
Unless you actually have like the luck.
Oh wow. A dirty 20.
I'd say as the
I mean, I do have lockpick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do have
Okay, well, in that case,
hypothetically.
I'd say your
since
patron was the Lord of Messages. I mean, imagine you've experienced with a lot of doors because you have to open doors to deliver messages.
um, with that 20 and the fact that you have a proficiency in lock picking, um, you are aware of how this kind of mechanism functions. The handle, which is now destroyed, um, will generally will basically read the presence of someone approaching to kind of engage or disengage the system. Clearly, that part's broken. Um, Well, you have a modern set of tools and not a pre-colonial set of tools. That does make things a little bit difficult, but you do know the method of siphoning the liquid metal. Um, your modern gear isn't perfect for it, but you could make a either intelligence or dexterity based of your use kit with this advantage kind of approximate the appropriate tool would need to gauge particular locking mechanism.
You said dexterity or what?
Dexterity or intelligence at disadvantage. The disadvantage is coming from the fact that
Okay.
you don't have pre-calamity equipment.
Okay. If I assist, I can apply prestidigitation for the crafting of crappy, mundane objects aspect of prestidigitation. Could that, acting as a cheap temporary fabricator, would that help him?
Unless you conjure
Yeah, you can
stuff.
conjure like very simple things, I believe.
Okay. And besides, you can do a number of miscellaneous things.
Yeah, I believe very simple constructs was something you could do. Non-magical trinket or illusory image. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely count, items of a toolkit in this particular case as trinket kind of things. Okay, with that
So
actually,
I will assist him, which should negate the disadvantage.
yeah, that does negate the disadvantage. Um, Obviously, the containing systems that is being conjured, I believe, won't last for very long. But
Well, in theory, it doesn't need to. We just need to get the door open.
yeah,
I got a total. So I got just regular, no advantage. So
Flat roll.
yeah,
Now.
flat roll. Just keep in mind that some of this is the containment apparatus for the liquid. So once the pressurization fails, there will be nothing containing it. It'll just kind of splatter.
If you have guidance, you could apply that.
I don't think I'll need it. I had a 17 on the die.
Or I could just use the portal gun mats.
So a 17 plus proficiency bonus, which is 6, and plus dex, which is 5. So total of a 28.
Okay, you are able to siphon away the liquid metal, causing the gears to now move freely as you functionally disabled the locking mechanism. I believe it's only lasts like a minute.
Yeah.
So for a minute, unless you have something suitable, you temporarily have liquid metal in a partially fabricated container.
I will. We're through. I'll rig the container so that when it evaporates, the goo will go back into the mechanism like it's supposed to.
Okay. I was sure you guys just wanted to carry it around with you or not. So.
I'll just put the bucket over the mechanism so just back in. Anything else, it should be easier to work the system on this side than it was on the other side. And worst case, again, I just remembered we had the portal gun mats.
Okay. So the door will close behind you guys.
Okay.
The interior is rather tall. It has a vaulted ceiling, and between the floor and the ceiling, there is 150 of nice openness that can be soared through, as you can get two balconies that enable other levels and as you can see from the building itself, it has wings on either side that you can get to. The the It's clear that there's really meant to be more light in here than there is. As the central area has a circular platform on a dais that that is clearly some form of control system. There are, of course, other rooms in here, but the central chamber seems to really be kind of dedicated to open space for whatever the central area is.
All right. Well, get our old world knowledge people over there to see if they can figure out how that works.
If you're cool with that, Turbulent.
Yep. Let's go.
Okay. Moving over to the central area. It is quiet enough in here, by the way, that your footfalls echo, and if there are any whooshing noises caused by Carballane, if you say flying, that is it's solid enough that that is more audible than
Okay.
going over to the central area. Um, it is very dusty, but you are able to see that. Excuse me. You are able to see that there is a currently deactivated system in place to excuse me. Um, the depiction is a shield over the over the city. It is clearly off. Um, the issue is a matter is a matter of power. Um, um, from the from your kind of from the ambient from the whispers that was researched from the you are aware that um that to reinitialize this you will need a either something like magicite crystals, a lot of pure magical energy, or a relatively small amount of something with divine existence.
So me,
Um,
or more divine.
well, given what you are, would count. The issue would be in what way could you power this thing?
Um,
As Hermes has indicated that that a small amount of something of celestial existence could.
well, shit. I don't know how I could power this thing, and
Say a small amount of something, do they mean to leave a lock of hair and it'll work? Do you have to put a spell into it? Do you have to fuck it?
Um, Barbalain, if you're wanting
yeah.
to kind of interpret again the communication that happened, you could make a insight or investigation roll. Um, if you um, if you would also like to try to articulate it to everyone else, you could make a difficulty 23 persuasion roll as well to articulate things, so other people may also be able to make either the investigation or insight roll.
Okay. I will make. I will articulate it. You said I could make what kind of roll?
You need to make a difficulty persuasion roll to articulate it. But regardless, I would need the investigation or insight roll to be able to pull out more more concrete information from the Call of the Whispers.
Okay. 25 on persuasion, and you said investigation.
Investigation or insight.
17 investigation.
Station. Okay, that I have. Okay. Um. So, and you can of course articulate this. Um. From what you're able to tell with that roll, um, a small amount, um, would mean um a um a portion of yourself. This could constitute blood. Um, I mean, if you want to be if you want to be excessive, you could do something like a finger, but that is a bit much. It is an option though. But basically, because you yourself are or of the create or were crafted by the gods and thus have the methodology of divine existence in you, your blood would count as a sufficient source. As for how much,
What about my feathers? Like from my wings?
um, you have a feeling it would take a large amount of your
Okay, nope. What it is.
feathers.
What it is.
It's like let's not my hero you here, where you're just poor bird guy with no feathers.
Yeah. Now, because you're articulating it, other people could make rolls to try to determine a good range of blood. Because when I say blood, I mean you're going to need to inflict damage on yourself to constitute the amount.
Hmm.
And the roll you had wasn't enough to give you an idea of how much beyond your blood is suitable. I would also like to remind you, since it has been a while, um, who's now known as Kreska the Black Robe, still has a vial of your blood from way back when.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we roll to figure out how much we need?
In this case, it would either be investigation or medicine.
I think I'm going to go with investigation because I'm a lot better at that.
Okay. Usually it's going to be higher, but also you're really good at that. So, hmm. Okay. Um, that roll,
Roll 3.
you'll be able to infer that it will take um 10 to 20 HP worth of damage per quadrant for the city to be burned.
So 40 to 80 HP.
With the 18, I can only give you a range.
Yeah, that. Now we can heal that.
Yeah. The question is if when we heal it, if the blood will still stay in there or if it'll like half-life after you heal it.
Well, my rudimentary understanding of healing magic, because I'm not a dedicated healer. That would be that guy over there who's standing there staring at the corner. And GM is free to correct me on this, but because I'm sure we've healed
Oh, I guess it's not because I mean
blood.
he's implied that someone else still has my blood, and I've definitely healed since then. So
So yeah, it's like my understanding is healing magic would, in this instance, possibly would probably create more blood to replace what was lost.
Um, well, yeah, it would heal the injury and thus,
Okay.
if there was, it would replace blood from the standpoint of if you had lost so much blood that you'd become woozy, the healing would
Okay.
store that and
Okay.
would make repairs to that.
Follow-up question: given the nature of how the spell and the techniques operate, could I apply Caligo R's to the charged mist spell to enhance what he's working with, so he possibly has to give less? Basically, concentrate the effectiveness of what he's feeding in.
Because you have cargo R's and you some charge miss. Use it in that way. I would need an Arcana roll to see. kind of repurpose the spell for that.
Okay. If anybody has guidance or inspiration they want to throw my way, that would be great. I will do this on my own,
You can have a luck die
which is a
if you want.
10, as I recall.
Yep.
If you want to give me that.
Yep.
Sasha will if you mention what your plan is, will advise you based on his experience with various other relics and such. He's actually going to use the bardic die, which he doesn't generally use use for others. It's usually fueling his own stuff. One moment, let me get you how much that is.
Look at us doing teamwork. Got ourselves a nice little math montage.
That's a D8 from Zasha. Kara will also give you a reassuring, like one armed hug around the shoulder for guidance.
Okay, so we do still have somebody who has guidance. That's what I was trying to figure out. So I'm at a plus a D10, plus a D8, plus a D4.
Wait, we're playing SS20 now?
Apparently. Teamwork.
Wait, I have guidance.
Good to know for the future.
Okay, so I rolled a natural 6, brings me up to a base 15 before the dice.
Okay. Very fine for good.
It's pretty good, but given the number,
You needed
it'd be higher.
every ounce of that.
D4, of course, rolled.
I'm more
Yeah.
in the D10 than I am the D4.
Yeah.
The D4 gave me what I expected.
Your maximum for this roll was like what? 30, 38, 42. It was 51. Was
yeah.
51 was the maximum you could have rolled.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
They're enhancing his blood roll. I will.
And the minimum was 13.
I will then count each HP worth of blood you're using as 3 for the purposes of powering this device.
Okay, which means in theory the max we need to bleed you 40 divided by 3, like 12, 13. That's a lot more reasonable.
That's fine.
I'll just hand you a healing potion out of the crate for to offset that. You chug it while you're doing it, assuming you want to do this.
Yep.
Honestly, it's the most efficient way, because using raw magic would have drained you guys of a lot of spell points.
So minus, we need 40, so minus, we're going to take 14 HP.
Okay.
And that's the max.
47.
I need less.
Oh, I don't care. We can go high.
There is a kind of bowl-like area that is in the center of the controls. It looks like it was meant to mount like a magicite item, but it is a place for you to pour your blood into, because of course it has to be bowl-like.
How many HP do I heal with the healing potion?
By default, it's 2d4 plus 2. So do you want 2 or 3?
Let's do let's do 3.
Time and see how you roll.
Yeah, let's do the first 2 first.
Okay. So that's
Or
you're taking 2 potions, 44 plus 4.
First one. Happy. Paste. Second one.
Already. Hey, we only needed the 2.
Fully healed.
Nice.
I roll better than you.
Pouring your silver blood in. As if being controlled by magnets in terms of the way it's flowing. It flows hmm, um flows to the center of the bowl like indentation, uh forming a sphere of your silver blood. Um which by the way you will hear Lady Asura like stifle a gasp when she sees you bleeding yourself. Not so much that you're bleeding yourself, but likely because of the color of your blood.
Yeah.
Um Mint is kind of more looking away, not wanting to see someone being bled. But
For science,
but it forms a sphere um that ripples for a few moments before becoming perfectly spherical. It's definitely smaller than the diameter of the bowl itself. Um, with a with a layer of the silver actually kind of along the bowl. Um, there is a flickering on the controls as it's like light is like shooting through to illuminate the control system, then fading, then kind of like being jolted again. You're definitely having the sense that something is attempting to siphon the power as the power is being generated until the bowl itself glows. You can see some of the glowing uh, beyond the spread out coming through the spread out silver. Um, as a as from the core sphere of blood um begins to have a layer of crystal around it. You're not sure whether it's being transmuted or just kind of growing from it as it expands to the to the edges of the bowl, creating a dome surface. So it looks like there's now like a sphere in the center. From what you can see, and for anyone are both of you proficient in Arcana, or is it just Rogue?
I'm proficient.
Um, I am not proficient in Arcana.
This crystal that forms, which is a slightly darker center, surrounded by purple that gradients into pink the further away it goes. Um, Row, you will be able to, and especially because of your general crafting, you will be able to recognize this as the same kind of material that the magicite windows of this place are made out of. So, so Tarbalaine's blood has somehow been used to form some kind of solid magicite. The darker point and the darker sphere in the center likely being the amount of blood that was used. Um, to your knowledge, blood is not really an ingredient. Um, for for magicite. But then you're not a magicite crafter. But you figure that if blood sacrifice is required, there'd at least be rumors.
Yeah,
Um, for you, Tarblane, because you're not proficient, you don't immediately recognize this as magicite unless you want to make deductions based off of the windows. Um, you can feel that your energy is like shot and like fractured through um this crystal that is formed. Um, there is now a momentary that fills the area as things are now powered um since it is able to overcome whatever draining effect was what was happening. Lights in the area turn on. The illumination um not not going through of course the windows, but other window like areas from different levels, causing a kind of prismatic almost kaleidoscope like level of light throughout the main main chamber. Darker core
Okay.
of the magic site. Oh, sorry, do you want to say something?
No, no.
The darker core of this magicite um, is now um, well largely occluded. There is a there is a faint visibility of silver um, at its core. The console's um, now reading um, that there's a protective dome or shield around the city. There is in fact illumination outside. It's a faint illumination, but there is still illumination outside.
Okay.
That feels like mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't have to do these. Does everyone have a passive perception higher than 50?
Passive higher than
Okay.
15, 22.
I assume I do not, but I could be wrong. I do not. My passive is 13.
Okay. In which case, Ro, you will hear in a whisper to herself that is a combination of shock, like 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 self-determining shock, awe, and bewilderment um of didn't realize in reference to a being like Tarbling still existing. As a reminder, um her entire motivation was the promise of restoring some of what was lost, which technically is something Tarbling represents.
Hmm.
I'll let the two of them figure that out. That is not my.
Unfortunately, you're the only one that heard that. She may or may not. This may or may not affect things later.
Right, like I said, I will stay out of that. And, if she chooses to, speak up or say something,
Okay.
at the moment, doesn't seem to be a threat to anybody, so I don't need to bring it up and make everything awkward.
Hey, you. What you wish about nothing? Okay. Um, are you guys wanting to leave or stay in the building for some reason?
It sounds like there's no reason to stick around from what you just said.
Unless you want to investigate the wings and the rooms, that would eat up time.
Do you want to poke around, or you want to move on to the next one?
We can move on to the next one.
You got a preference? I see two in the water. We got one really far away in the water and one right next to the tower in the water.
And there's the tower itself.
Oh yeah, but we're going to the tower was kind of a given. That I felt like we should do that one last since we're going there anyway.
Let's go to the water.
The far water or the near water?
Far water.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Work our way back.
When you guys exit the building, you will find out the source of the illumination. It is coming from the silver shield that is now over the crack that has been burst from above it. And there's a sense that it probably domes going through material to the perimeter of the city. This shield has a feathered pattern to it.
The dome has a feathered pattern to it?
Yeah.
Huh.
More specifically, because you're intimately familiar, it is the pattern of the feathers on your wings create.
Okay.
That seems unnecessary.
This city is under my protection, I guess.
Um, while this shield is up, you have a pool of 100 points that you can draw from. Every 10 points will effectively increase your spell level for spells that can be upcast by 1 to a maximum of 20. Keep in mind that would be depleting the general energy of the shield.
Okay.
And that's
Alrighty then.
quadrant, so technically your total is, but
I imagine that'll be useful in the boss fight.
keep in mind the shield is currently preventing any more more fall events that have already happened to penetrate. So if you do use it, you're risking making the city vulnerable to exteriors.
And I guess as we're heading over, check on the meteor. The Dawn's finished cooking that yet.
How long does it last?
How long does what last?
Dawn lasts up to a minute.
Okay.
So that was 60-10 for 10 rounds.
Okay. 10 rounds. Given the amount there, yeah, at that point it would be the thing is not destroyed, but it is incapacitated.
Okay, I will finish it off on the way by then. Just so it doesn't have a chance to take root.
Okay. This has a damage threshold of
Okay. I mean, I can in theory do that much damage.
Well, you don't necessarily have to. You don't like you hit it with your sword, I guess. If you can produce that amount of damage without using spells.
Without using any spells, I don't. So I can do it with cantrip. Get it. Like things like Hoarfrost, cantrip type stuff to get it up that high. But just a raw roll, I cannot.
Okay. Well, I guess my question more is, I wasn't sure if you could do it without expending any.
You can do it without expending MP.
Okay. In that case, then, given the situation,
I just have to pop a Hoarfrost on it. Then.
Okay. In that case, then, it will take you a few minutes of hacking at it, but you could do it for free.
If people don't mind me taking a moment to do that, yeah.
that case, you guys spend a few minutes. You're able to destroy it.
And then we can go on to the far fence.
I wonder if I'm going to feel it if something was to attack the shield.
That's a very interesting question. I mean, are you like connected to the shield? Aside
I don't know.
from the fact that you powered it just now?
Um, Passively, you can feel a connection of energy. Um,
I was going to say, I am connected enough to pull from it.
yeah. Um, and that's just without you thinking about it. If you care to give it some thought, it might be interesting as to what'll happen.
Yeah, I would like to give it some thought.
Oh, okay. In that case, you can make me you can make me either a charisma or a wisdom roll.
Charisma roll, obviously. A 18.
Okay. um, you when you're focusing on it, actually feel um dulled sensation of impact. So when I say dulled, it's more like a cutoff of like when the of it of if the impact would be high enough to cause severe pain, you kind of feel that the senses is being cut off at that point, but you are feeling like the occasional impact. Experimenting with it a little bit, actually have a um sense. I say to use the term perception because it's not exactly sight. Um, you have a sense of things within and slightly outside of the shield itself, as if a as if this was a slight extension of your.
Okay. So yeah, it's a slight extension of myself.
By spending a just as an example, by spending a hit die, you could make like a perception roll or like anything, any kind of the perception action, type of roll, um, with the range essentially be either a short range outside of the barrier or within the city. But that does require enough focus and expenditure to have you a use a hit die to essentially get citywide sense roll.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
All of it? You mean to say you say all of
Yes, yes, zoned out.
it? Yeah. With by turning with the connection, you find that if you exert enough effort, i.e., spend a hit die, you can make a citywide perception roll or investigation roll, depending on the situation. And that can also
Huh.
that can also extend to slightly exterior of the barrier, but the hit die will either be for in or out.
Okay.
It's your
Um,
spider.
I know. Not quite on that level. I can't get all of the spiders across the world like wolf spider. Okay. I assume we don't need that yet. Do we have any reason to?
Yeah, I don't think we need, aside from just a general sense of awareness, yeah, I don't think we need that yet.
Car will note that's actually kind of amazing. Sasha will make the comment though. Does that mean with what we just happened? Can we make artifacts out of your blood? Changes your kind of you.
No.
Okay. As you can see, this is in the water. It is basically a stilted area of interconnected buildings. Um, how are you wanting to go from the water to it? Because the bridge looks like it was destroyed by a fall impact.
Is the bridge within vine trestle range, 30 feet? Like, could we use the bridge as a starting point to trestle across? Not sure if the map was accurate or not.
You're looking at a 65 a 65 long bridge.
Okay, so bridge will not.
How deep is it?
Oh, the bridge has a 60-foot gap in it that connects to the main part of the city.
Well, it's 60-foot gap, but how deep is it?
Well, it completely penetrates the bridge, or
How deep is the water?
oh, the water.
Yeah.
The water. 30 to 50.
Hmm. Well, I can just fly across. So
Yeah. There.
I was trying to see. For some reason, I thought I had something in the Earth crystal that would allow me to control the Earth, but all it does is
Something that
expand.
lets you do like limited earth bending or something.
I think that David's been letting me do limited Earth bending, even though I don't actually have anything that specifically says that I could do limited Earth bending.
I think I've been having you like expend some spell points or something when you try stuff like that.
I think you had me expend hit die
What was it?
for it,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it's like the crystals run on hit die.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember letting you do stuff like that, but I also remember there was a tiny cost to it. Okay. Well, between water walking and flight, you guys can make the um. I guess there's been a slight drain on.
Well, I can ask that for free.
Oh damn. Okay.
It's a ritual.
Oh shit. Plus, doing these things are time and resources. Oh, no resources are being expended. Okay, good for you.
Remember the thing with Ro, if it's a utility spell, it's probably a ritual. If it's an attack spell, then it's not.
There.
Because Ro is not very good at utility magic.
The interconnected buildings themselves are still interconnected. It's just the main bridge got screwed. You will you will find you will find in here that do you remember the oh Christian. Essentially throughout this place is a scattered throughout this these interconnected buildings are the same kind um light ray cannons that the Star Rider has from the from the crystal strewn around. Um, uh, they're the system, however, like with most of the rest of the city, is no longer with no longer with power. This appears to be caused by this appears at a glance caused by um, essentially a form of damage to cannons themselves. Repairing these require a intelligence roll with a
Anybody good with jeweler's kits?
Nope.
okay.
Do we have a jeweler's kit?
Seems like something you might know. I think we might feel like we had one in the inventory in the crate. Let me look. Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
I'm not seeing it here. Okay. Due to your passive Karo, you're aware that she has proficiency in jeweler's kit, but obviously doesn't have a jeweler's kit. Physical thing.
Uh, and well, I can conjure pieces. I can't conjure a whole kit. That would be a bit much.
So if anything, I believe the artificer has a specific class feature.
Yeah,
that
that's an
allows for
artificer thing.
kits.
Yeah. So without having proficiency, she'd be rolling at disadvantage, or she just can't make the check at all.
Without the proper tool, would be rolling at she would be rolling at disadvantage. The difficulty would not be in. Alternatively, if you have Arcana, could because you're dealing with essentially a form of magic attack, could roll Arcana, but that would be at both disadvantage and an increase.
Well, then it sounds like giving her the assist might be our better move.
Okay.
So we can pop an assist. She can guide herself.
We can give her another luck die, I suppose. I don't know how many of those we want to hold on to in case we have a
Should be
big.
full, right? We've only used this would be our second one.
Yeah. And I suppose technically it's an unlimited resource if I call the cowboy. Actually, no, luck die or not. I can only get luck points from him. One luck die spent.
It's a D10.
Yeah, she used it.
Oh, right, you guys were. That D20 though.
I use a card on her.
Unless the card says so, I don't think that's how that works. That being said, you could take the if you want to take the time, you can try again. I will let you know that that each attempt is 10 minutes worth of time.
Do we have 10 minutes?
I don't know how far along they is.
I suppose I can do a quick citywide search.
Ooh, if you want to, you could.
Stupid question. Well, can we negate the problem of not having a toolkit if we blow a mending? We're technically making repairs. I got a scroll of mending here.
Oh, a scroll of mending. You're having to repair multiple points.
Which is why I was asking if it maybe could fill in for the toolkit.
Not for the whole of the task. If you just have a scroll.
I was trying to negate the disadvantage. So
Yeah, because this is representing repairing the entire system.
yeah.
Which is far more than five cubic. If you had like the mending cantrip, then yeah, if you're like going around with her, I could see that because you can just reuse that.
I guess let's see how his sensor roll is, and we can go from there.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to spend a hit die and then make, you're trying to figure out kind of how much time you have left.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could spend the hit die and make a investigation roll. Assuming that you're still with us.
I am sorry. I didn't realize that was to me. What roll am I making?
If you spend a hit die, you can make an investigation.
Okay.
She was proficient.
Then the hit die and a luck point.
Tools that cause a disadvantage.
Yes, but you did your proficiency that crappy? You only gave her a +4.
That's going to be a 28 investigation.
There's 20 investigation. However, thanks for a reminder of the proficiency. It was enough. If you still want to make this roll, you can, because you will get information by making this roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent luck points on it.
Okay. With that investigation roll, you'll have the you'll have the defenses here. As roll, but with the investigation roll, you will sense a couple. Oh, that's yellow. Um, you will be able to sense a you'll sense a growing power in the central tower. Um, you currently sense that it is at third um, of um, of its full um, um, full power, for lack of a better term. It is growing, so it's not like it's stopped. It's just that's currently what is is what it's at. You will also you'll also be sensing something that feels like like a like a shadow or a distant connection of yourself.
Weird.
Negatarbalane.
And you will get a you will get a impression. It's only a matter of time now. It's only a matter of time now. This will it'll be sure that Ember Falls is protected. It is kind of hollow without Lady Asura here. Anything I can do to accelerate this? Um, you'll perceive. It sounds like a thought, as if something um, is being picked. Show yourself.
Mm-hmm. Did they say show yourself faster?
Yes.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
That's very creepy. Did it sound like my voice?
Um, it um it did not sound. It did not sound like your voice exactly. Though it did have a similar. I believe the term is timbre or timbre. To your own.
Is that my voice? Oh well. I will let Ro know. Hey, remember that vial of blood I got out there floating around that someone got?
Vaguely.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's been used.
Well, upside, that means you're gonna get some closure.
What do you mean I'm going to get some closure?
Well, I mean, if it's been used and we're heading to where it's been used, then in theory that will will be resolved and it'll be no longer hanging over our head.
Oh, that's fair.
As for other fluids you've left lying around, I don't know if you can do anything about that right now, but
See, I am 99% sure that we could get Kami back for a mission if it meant beating up Thomas.
do you think we have time for the last thing?
Um, yeah, we can definitely get the last one tonight.
I was talking about, out of game, tonight. I was just asking, Thomas, based on his little perception thing, does he think we have enough time to make a run for it?
Oh, do we have enough time to make a run for it?
Wasn't that the whole reason you were listening, to see if we had time?
Yes, that was.
Yeah.
Because if we get all these things turned on and get to the tower, I think we had a pretty good session.
Okay. Um, likely, and I say that because I'm going to explain this. You see how I've been occasionally rolling these dice.
Yes.
That's been gauging the stage of what he's doing because of the time that you guys are doing other things with. With his latest roll, currently 2 are locked in, so it will take a 8 to 10 on a D10 to lock in final stage. If you guys were to go to the next spot, that would be enough time for me to have another roll happen.
If we were to ignore the terrain by flight, would that give us a chance at making a check before you get your roll?
Oh, you mean having me roll after you get there, do stuff versus prior?
Yeah. Give us a chance to actually, get whatever we need done before he does his thing, as opposed to him getting a shot because of travel time.
Yes.
Okay. So I will pop a fly spell for everybody who's not Thomas, I guess. 1,
Mm.
3, 4. That I have to cast the 8th level. That's fine.
So you're aware of this, the location of this thing is actually underwater.
All right. I will blow ahead and do hasty ritual water breathing for everyone. So we can just fly and then dive like a. Wait, which bird that is that they can dive underwater?
Hmm.
Diving runs. Keep that luck die handy. We might have to force the GM to re-roll.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So you're
Yep.
going down. Okay. Um. For going into the water, there is a structure that looks like it used to be above water, but it collapsed and gone below water. As ornate as it looks, it also has a sense of practicality to it. Swimming around and entering, you will find what appears to be a kind of combination of armory and forge. Um, there are excuse me. There are suits. There are suits of armor um, encased behind transparent. You know, encased behind transparent material. Um, that is clearly a form of armored material. While the forge itself is down, again, a lot of the armors are in here. Looking at of of levels of things that have armors and weaponry, some of which you recognize from the flashbacks, others of which you the armor appears to be appears to be made in part of Magicite itself. This is a bit of a bit of a bulky suit. I'm going to go out of kind of my narrative universe description and just say more or less what it is, so you guys can understand it. They're powered armors you can wear over your current stuff.
Mech suits.
We
Okay,
The
so
question is how to access them.
we have to break them out of their crystal.
Yeah, they're basically slotted in their open in case of emergency, but with everything being off, opening it is the issue.
Well, the hard way would be brute forcing it. But that definitely would take a lot of time. Try shattering it with a spell. I presume there are no the mechanisms are busted, so that would take time to fix. Yes.
The mechanisms aren't busted, but they're clearly in a sealed state. So if you're talking about like prying it open,
I meant the mechanisms that operate the seals.
oh no, those are intact but depowered.
Runs on the same power source as everything else around here.
Magic, yeah.
So how tightly sealed are these things?
Well, I don't know if the characters would necessarily be aware of this. They're to use modern vernacular, they're airtight.
Okay, so I can't like slip something in and then okay.
Now you could potentially try to force a gap at a seam and try to leverage. But it's close enough that you can't like just inherently put fingers in. You have to use a prying device.
Yeah. Sure. I was thinking maybe slip the portal mat in, and but that's not going to work with that. Can we tell how much power we'd be looking at needing here?
Given your proficiency in Arcana, and from the information from judging from the defense shield, you would be looking um, at 50 spell points per opening of case.
And these are just cases that are basically drop down on top of the things and then form a tight seal, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like I think you've seen in sci-fi's where you essentially it's a airtight seal for like a capsule.
Well, my question is it like on all six sides, or is like the bottom potentially?
It's a two-piece thing. You have its back against the wall. There are sides, airtight seam, and then the front covering. So it's like a pill shape
Okay.
with the seam in the middle. Sides.
does it appear to be a pressure-based seal? Like the water pressure is holding it sealed?
And well, that's part of it. It's more that it's locked in with as an airtight seal. So there's an internal mechanism that's keeping it closed.
Okay, that was my question, because it's like I know like
They appear to be anchored to the wall slots that they're in.
how are they anchored to the walls?
Um, Weight, they're just slotted in.
Okay,
I mean, these things are heavy as hell, but slotted in.
In which case, this might, in its infinite stupidity, work. Reverse gravity.
Oh,
So they will, in theory, fall up and bust the canister on the ceiling?
Okay, I'll surely get them out of their slots.
Hmm.
As far as opening them,
Maybe the friction of sliding out will pop them. I don't, because that's going to be exerting far more force than we ever could.
and how they're, I'll give that a chance. They're pretty sturdy. I'll give that a chance. Can you just roll me a flat d20?
Not great. That's a 6.
Okay. Well, with with that in mind, you have them out, but not open. That being said, you now have kind of free reign to kind of do whatever you want with it. You could try to pry open the sides. You could try to use a magic to maybe dissolve a part of it.
Okay, well, we've got a million of these vials of acid. Can I use a vial of acid to make a hole?
How many bellows are you going to use?
Well, I'll start with one. I'm just trying to make it, small. I'm not trying to make it huge. I'm just trying to make a breach.
Okay, it'll take 3 vials to make it a small.
Not very efficient.
And this is really durable pre-calamity material.
But that's enough to get the portal gun mat in, at which point we can have it fall through the portal gun mat and then pull the mat back through.
Okay.
So that's one.
Do you have enough to use it on the rest?
If it's going to cost us 3 a pop, I can get 2 more that way.
Okay.
Um,
That's way more convenient than what I was gonna do. I was gonna waste using the Earth Crystal gun because I assume these things are made of inorganic material.
Yes.
Means I could probably break them pretty easily.
okay, and via cantrip, I can get a 4th one out that way.
Okay.
That brings us up to 4.
There was more than enough quantitatively for the entire group.
Yeah, we're too short. Oriole of etherealness wouldn't help here.
Could we just hop into one of the ones that we unlocked and then use it to break the other ones?
Possibly. Worth a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Who wants to hop into one then?
After the red hat.
I will get in.
Okay. You'll be able to get into it as it activates activates around you. It is again, as I mentioned, it's kind of more like a powered suit. It is large in terms of size, so you're able to get into it.
If somebody wants to grab one of the other ones, we can pull from both ends.
Okay, I will hop into one of the other ones.
Yeah. Well, apologize, I don't be typed out. You guys are have to deal with an image. I mean, no options. Um, when Robe, goes into one, and it powers up. Um you will get a there's like readouts and stuff around you. You actually feel it not physically connected to you, but you kind of sense it kind of connecting to you as its occupant. From the outside, um Arbelane, you and the others will see that the kind of generic looking equipment attached to it will glow and in a sparkling flash shift to mimic rose equipment, like your weapons.
Energon.
Okay.
Uh, you know, excuse me. You'll be able to tell by the readouts that this and likely the rest of it are in need of maintenance. Um, in other words, these will not last for much beyond the mission year.
Okay. They are temporary.
Unless you have sufficient knowledge and ability to. Um,
Anybody know any artificers?
okay.
You know who probably does? Your friend back at the library.
Probably. They probably have a few on staff.
Yeah. Okay. There are some set blocks here, which I will between weeks alter to be more closer to what I'm actually guys. That being said, um, your reproduced weapons um is kind of coded by an energy. Actually, the equipment you're currently wearing is also coded by the same kind of. So, but with this, I think you're going to get out and try to break the other.
He takes one end of the pill, I take the other. We're just kind of pulling.
Okay. Between using his equipment and everything, you'll be able to free other bits of units. Um, um, while you're in these, you are essentially inside a form of a vehicular construct, um, meaning that, save for special instances, the what you're wearing will take the damage with its own HP pull before you do.
Sweet, extra hit points.
Yay!
Yeah, again, I want to kind of rewrite this stuff. You have access to various extra systems. Unit does have a damage threshold to it. But there's various kind of gizmos and enhancements. Not that you guys can use it, but it does have some fast acceleration ability. Again, I kind of want to rewrite this. I can show the current version to you, but I will be
on the next session.
Yeah. What's kind of different here, and this is more of a mechanical function. Your weapons now have the edolic property.
That's new.
What does that mean?
He'll tell us later, apparently.
It's something that your characters would really be able to know. It's more of a meta thing than I'm letting you know that it has it.
Cool.
Um, are you guys willing to let Arono or Lady Yasha in one of these things, given that they were prisoners?
They were, but they've been playing nice so far, so are we pretty sure we can take them if they try something, considering we've already beat them once. What do you think?
Yeah, we can let them go. Ish.
Okay.
I'd say so far, they seem to realize it's in their own best interest not to start anything. So
In that case,
one of them sounds like she might be considering defecting now that she found out that Turblane bleeds silver.
Hmm.
yep, that is true.
It sounds like we're heading for the tower now.
You're heading for the tower, which I will have a ending scene on if Matt is able to last that long, because you sound like you're
Yep.
getting understand.
I'm.
Oh, well, yeah, if you're doing the ending scene, I'll wait to go get through.
Yeah.
I need to wait for what's only going to be like a minute extra content. But
First off,
You have my undivided attention.
here's the general type. Here's the general look of the. Okay, in terms of scene, with the suits, you'll be able to traverse and enter the tower, where um where you guys will at the top find the players that go here, please. Party ribbon.
there we go.
There. Ooh, 8. Okay, thank you for aiding the narrative. Um, there is the center looks like it has the kind of whirly gig in the middle. It is whirling around and charging clearly. On the you can hear um you can hear um the kind of structure itself humming with energy. The suits you are in are are reading a increasing activation levels of what the suits are are identifying as um Tarbacast, reaching the central area. Um, and your movement because I assume you're being rushy here.
Mhm.
Is caught by the this individual um looking at the powering up sequence, and turns to look at you guys entering. You're just about out of time as you see this individual. Yes, they do have those wings. They do have that large ass sword.
Do I recognize them?
The face is similar to yours, as if it were, as if it were as if they had familial relation.
Oh no, the consequences of my action. Thomas is gonna mutter under his breath and be like, "Oh, thank God, Kami's not here."
Now, in addition to this image, because I was going to Photoshop those two images together. Yes. Um, they are wearing a dark robe about. Difficult. Should be able to pull this image. You're joking, not another one.
What?
It's in the Roll20 chat. And also in the Roll20 chat is what he is wearing over his stuff. I can also click to the Discord to make it.
Oh, he's wearing a black robe.
Yes, the
Uh,
so it's far more intricate than other black robes that you've seen.
yeah. Look, here comes the consequences of my actions chasing me right now.
He'll point his long two-handed sword, weighing and able to hold it in one hand, pointing it at the unit that um that Farblane is in.
Right
I
here.
was I was I'm wondering what I'm sensing here. Very familiar. But I'm sure I'll find out if you try to stop me. Now, now if only Lady Ashura was here. Sorry, if if Lady Asara was here.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I and Lindsay, a brother of Caressa, offspring of a being far more powerful than any of you.
What being are you offspring of?
He'll flex his wings, giving his glance. The blood of the blood of an existence that is no longer here.
Okay.
And as a result, the world needs to be remade.
Okay. Thomas is gonna like wipe his brow and be like, "Oh, good. He's not one of mine."
Um,
I'm very clearly still here.
um, or he's unaware of who his father looks like.
Oh, I am very. Player is very aware of that. Thomas is.
Who is rational.
He's just going to. Yeah, he's rationalizing. Okay, comes the consequence, and consequences.
I'll remake the world. I'll make the world closer to the way it was. Even if I have to looks over to the device that's ever increasing in its charge. Even if I have to tear through the moon to do it.
Hmm. Yeah, and I assume we fade to black right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And just to clarify, apparently there's also a sister.
Oh, that's true. That is very true.
Portrait of possibilities.
Oh, did you catch even have to tear through the moon to do it?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. I got to this point because I did want to introduce Wednesday. Um, I should have known you guys are trying to push the time limit to its utmost maximum just to get all the bennies, which is fine.
Well, on the bright side, we have like 4 weeks to plan for the next mission because that next Friday is definitely not doable. But the one after that is again going to be just like this one, where it'll just be me sitting alone at home. Although,
I'd say next Friday's Isekai, then the next Final Fantasy would be the 27th.
yeah. And then after the 27th,
Down for that or not? Because you're
I am still in town, but I think we have plans on the Friday.
okay.
I don't know. My schedule is 90% in Sierra's hands. So,
Either way, now we can at least keep you company.
Yep.
what was that?
I was saying, I'm glad we can at least keep you company since you mentioned you were alone.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just me and the dogs. But I would have just been asleep normally, so. Alrighty, but I probably should get to sleep now. But
Good.
I will talk to you all tomorrow, or what Sunday game is this week?
Double check. I think Gaiden. Yes, Gaiden.
Okay, yeah, I will do my best to attend.
What should be the finale for the Battle of Saltmarsh, and then the changeover to David's Adventure.
Alrighty. Just in time to clean everything up.
Yep.
Alright.
Corpse that needs sweeping.
Oh, well, fortunately, I'm not the janitor. Alright, where's my phone? Oh, is it sitting in the kitchen? I've been on my phone this whole time. Yes, I left it in the kitchen. I've gotten into the habit now of when I'm wearing my Bluetooth earphones, I leave my phone in the kitchen because if I take the dogs out, I can pick up my phone doesn't disconnect from the Wi-Fi because it's in the kitchen, but the Bluetooth will pick up outside. So, fun fact. Alrighty, y'all have a good night.
Yep. Good night.
Night.